Time for a new edition of Beyond the Arc here on High School Cube News. Brian Chimino back with Michael O'Brien of the Chicago Sun-Times. One show going on this week here on the website, and we're previewing Class 3A and Class 4A regionals. Actually, Class 4A regionals. A lot of the regionals in 3A, not very intriguing, but we do have a handful to talk about in Class 4A. Real quick, let's look at a couple of the regionals. They'll take place in the Morton sectional. First of all, at Whitney Young. You have Whitney Young, the number 2 seed in the sectional, the top one in that regional, and the other side of that semifinal. Pretty intriguing. Two teams that were formerly ranked. We're talking about De La Salle and Morton. Yeah, Morton is on a roll. You know, they were ranked a lot of the year. Wisner-Perez got hurt. They fell out. But they've got a rock-solid team, and Wisner-Perez is a superstar. But you got to watch out for De La Salle. You know, we haven't talked about them much at all, but they were preseason ranked. They have 2 Division I kids, and Carl Harris, the guard, wing guy, and Brandon Hutton, the forward. They're dangerous. Either team that comes out of that game can give Whitney Young a real run for their money in the final. Luckily for Young, it is at Young and will be a home game they're hosting, so that's going to help them a lot. And watching athletes like Joseph Toy against Wisner-Perez or Joseph Toy against Brandon Hutton for De La Salle is going to be a really fun regional matchup, just a high-level game. Another regional in that Morton sectional taking place at St. Ignatius. Number 10, Kenwood, is the top one in that regional, but the other side of the semifinal, you have St. Ignatius versus Proviso East. Yeah, Proviso East has to play in the play-in game to even get into this game, and that's kind of crazy. That's how strong the Morton sectional is. I was going through it. There's 11 teams that have been ranked this year in the Morton sectional. Anybody can win that thing. I think Ignatius has a great chance. However, you know, playing against teams with all those high-level athletes like Proviso East, Kenwood is going to be tough. Kenwood's a team that's probably been tested the most at all these, but they're still young. You know, Nick Robinson is a junior. Zion Morgan is a junior who's really coming on well. So Kenwood has the most talent maybe in the whole sectional, but it's going to be tough to get past Iggy and you know, Rich Kehoe. Let's look up north at the DeKalb sectional, and probably the toughest regional in state. We're talking about the Geneva regional, where Geneva is the top seed. They'll have to face the winner of either Batavia or DeKalb, and the other side of that regional, St. Charles North and St. Charles East. I mean, it's something else. This Geneva regional is going to be fun. A lot more fun than even like the other ones we've talked about, because these teams are rivals. They know one another. The towns know one another. Sometimes it's inter-district. St. Charles East and St. Charles North have played 3 times already. St. Charles East has won the first 2, and then St. Charles North shocked them in a great game when Jake Ludwig hit that big shot, you know, the 3rd time. This one can go any way you look at it. St. Charles East with Cole Gentry, a ton of shooters like Jake Esquini. They can beat any team in the state when they're hot. They're that good. But St. Charles North is the one team that really knows how they play, knows how they want to go. That's Wednesday night. It can go either way. It's going to be so much fun. Then on the other side, as Brian talked about, you know, you got Batavia and DeKalb. The winner's going to play Geneva. Geneva seemed like the favorite in this. They seemed like maybe a good bet to go downstate. Then they lost to Larkin, and now everything's thrown into question. Geneva's got Nate Navigato, high-scoring wing, but it's the guards you got to worry about, and it's the guards in the playoffs. So they might have a tougher time than you think even getting to this regional final against St. Charles North or St. Charles East, and I think I'd probably go with the St. Charles team over whichever one advances, and maybe over Geneva. Let's look at the East Aurora sectional with the Hinsdale South Regional. Very intriguing. In one semifinal, you have number 21 Hinsdale Central. Matt Rafferty's back. They'll be facing off with Hinsdale South. And then you have Willowbrook, number 25, waiting probably on Friday in the title game. So in this this regional, you got Willowbrook with Alonzo Verge, who sat out the last Willowbrook game. Willowbrook without Alonzo Verge is not much of a challenge. Willowbrook with Alonzo Verge Jr., oh boy, they're a beast. From what I hear, he's likely to play. He was just disciplinary reasons. From what we understand, sitting out one game. Still a murky situation, though. Hinsdale South and Hinsdale Central, Barrett Benson against Matt Rafferty and all the other great Hinsdale Central players. That's going to be a great one. They played early in the year, and Hinsdale Central won easily, but I think Hinsdale South is better now, so that's going to be close. You got to like, you know, the Red Devils in that one to win it. Rafferty's back from the hand injury. You know, he's still struggling with it, so he's not at 100%. But with him back, even with the limited amount he's back now, they can win this whole thing. They can wind up in Peoria. So Hinsdale Central is definitely back on the radar. And finally, let's look at the Bolingbrook sectional, the Lincoln Way North region, the most intriguing, because for the 3rd time this year, we'll probably see Plainfield North and Plainfield East. Yeah, this is another one, like the Battle of St. Charles, the Battle of Plainfield. Going to be a big sold-out gym. The first time Aaron Jordan hit a miraculous buzzer beater to give them the win. The second time Plainfield North handled Plainfield East fairly easily. Plainfield North has Trevor Stump. They got a lot of guys who can score, a lot of guys who are more athletic than they look. They're a really good team that I think could win this sectional if they can get by Plainfield East, which is going to be tough
just because of the rivalry and because Aaron Jordan will be probably the best player on the court. He's not going to want his high school career to go down. That's what you see in these playoff games, all these games we talked about. When you get a great senior like Aaron Jordan playing for his career, a lot of times wacky, fun things happen, and I'm sure we'll see some of those this week.
And those are 5 big regional pods to look forward to this week. Stick with High School Cube News for all the coverage. Just a reminder, every Tuesday, the No Shot Clock podcast dropping with Michael O'Brien and Joe Henriksen, kind of like Siskel and Ebert talking high school basketball. And also look at our YouTube channel and subscribe. You'll see all of our videos, including our weekly MVP segment this week with Harrison Diego of Lions. So for Michael O'Brien, I'm Brian Chimino. We'll see you guys next week as we preview sectionals throughout the Chicagoland area.